You're going to have so much more space for Eden Hazard to run into and to play through, and that might just benefit Chelsea.
I don't think they need too much motivation for the Europa League.
If Conte plays and the centre forward for Chelsea, whether it's Higuain or Giroud, show up, I think for this I would start Giroud myself also. Only because Higuain loves the space behind. And for me, if you look at, and we're talking about again at Arsenal pressing the ball, right? You need a strong centre forward to hold the ball up. And that's not necessarily Higuain's strength. So if centre forward Giroud shows up, or if it's Higuain pressing the ball, right? You need a strong centre forward to hold the ball up. And that's not necessarily Higuain's strength. So if centre forward Giroud shows up, or if it's Higuain pressing the ball, right? You need a strong centre forward.
Gabriel Marcotti, Dan Thomas, and Stuart Robson. Gab's somewhere wandering in the background.
Oh, great.
We will talk plenty about the Champions League in just a little bit, but I think first we should address the virus. What do we make of this? Something or nothing?
The Saturday part of it, maybe something. Maybe something. The other stuff, you see that in training, I wouldn't say every day, but it's very common. And it's very common that in preparation for a game, somebody comes in with a late challenge, somebody takes offense to it, and maybe there's some pushing and shoving, ends up in nothing, you end up continuing the training session. The difference here is that the training session, and it's very common that in preparation for a game, somebody comes in with a late challenge, somebody takes offense to it, and maybe there's some pushing and shoving, ends up in nothing, you end up continuing the training session. The difference here is that the training session, and it's very common that in preparation for a game, somebody comes in with a late challenge, somebody takes offense to it, and maybe there's some pushing and shoving, ends up in nothing, you end up continuing the training session. The difference here is that the training session, and it's very common that in preparation for a game, somebody comes in with a late challenge, somebody takes offense to it, and maybe there's some pushing and shoving, ends up in nothing, you end up continuing the training session. The difference here is that the training session, and it's very common that in preparation for a game, somebody comes in.
Disregarded exactly what he was said, talked to him about. Those things, are pretty surprising to happen the day before a match like the Europa League final. So, I think this could be something between David Luiz and himself, and you add in the fact that Rudiger is not going to be healthy. You're asking a lot of a player that is going to have to cover and form a partnership with Christensen.
Maybe it's the very tension of the fact that you have a final to play. And while the players may be a little bit on edge, maybe Sarri himself is on edge because of not only what has been the conversation surrounding Sarri throughout the course of the season, but also the fact that there are rumors of Sarri maybe going to Juventus. And now people are addressing those things. And you have to prepare for a match. You have the press conference. You have Juventus conversation. You have N'Golo Kante injured. There's a whole lot of things going on that doesn't seem to be going Sarri's way. Maybe the tension is also coming out.
Let's bring in Dan and Robbo here. Guys, it is just a video, but should we be making as much as we are of it? It seems like a lot of kind of overwhelming reaction from Sarri for something that is pretty normal.
It's a big deal, isn't it, Robert? You've got your manager running off, kicking that hat. He hated that hat.
Yeah.
This is not the preparation that you want going into a game, surely.
Well, I think there's something in this for Sarri. Remember a little while ago he said he wasn't sure how to motivate these players. And now, just before a final, a couple of players are having an argument. He then does a chat with David Luiz. He obviously didn't like what David Luiz was saying. I think there's something in this. Sarri looks as though Sarri wants to maybe going elsewhere. He hasn't always had the fans on his side. This is his big moment. They've had a good end to the season. This is Sarri's moment, and now he's thinking that one or two of the players still aren't motivated enough, still aren't doing the things that he's asking them to do. So that's a major problem.
But how can he think that acting like this is going to galvanise the changing room and get them prepared for what is a massive game?
Well, he's an emotion sort of character, isn't he? He's not somebody that always thinks before he acts. That's the way he manages. And he's had a reaction, he's walked off the field, he's kicked his hat 2 or 3 times, thrown it on the floor, gone off training. I think the training session had probably finished by that stage anyway, and he was just going to let the other coaches take over the last warm down, that sort of thing. But it was a strange reaction from Sarri.
Let's actually talk about tactically how he's going to approach this game, because as Ali mentioned before, maybe this is a little part of the frustration of Kante's 50-50. Of course, trained for half an hour today, didn't take part in the whole session. So in that sense, what do you do if Kante can't play?
He's just going to play Barkley and Kovacic, I'd imagine, in front of Jorginho. So I don't think there's any problem for them. His big issue is who he plays up front. I would always play Higuain before Giroud, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Giroud will start up front and Higuain will be on the bench. Maybe that was some of the frustration of Higuain in that training session.
Who are the favourites for you, Robert, going into this game?
Who are the better team? Chelsea are the better team, but I think there's a lot of motivation with Arsenal at the moment. There's one or two issues with Chelsea, maybe with Sarri leaving, maybe one or two of the other players not quite happy. Eden Hazard's last game. I might just say Arsenal got the slight favourites.
You look at it, would this motivate the Arsenal players as well a little bit? The fact that Sarri's acted like this, that they've shown a bit of weakness.
I don't think they need too much motivation for the Europa League. Arsenal.
Sure.
They've played very well in the Europa League. It's been in the Premier League where they've not played quite so well. Unai Emery knows the game very well. He knows this competition very well, and that's going to be key to the game. How Unai Emery approaches the game. 2 games against Chelsea. The first one, he played Ozil behind the front 2, and Jorginho ran the game, or was able to run the game, along with David Luiz. In the second game, they pressed high up the field, stopped Chelsea playing out from the back. They kept on winning the ball almost in Chelsea's penalty area. They won the game comfortably 2-0. He's got to go with that tactic in this game.
Give me a score then, Robbo.
I think Arsenal win 2-1.
In your Arsenal ways. Like it or not, I'll be joined by Gab a little bit later on, but for now, back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you very much, Dan, and we do look forward to hearing from Gab.
Do we? He's not on camera and he's hitting it.
Let's get some predictions. We just got one from Robbo. Ale, what do you think we'll see tomorrow?
I'm with Robbo. I'm with Stewie. I think that Arsenal wins this, and it's not so much because they're the better team or not. It's the fact that there's so many things going on around Chelsea that it's hard to pick them. It's hard to think that they're going to be the best version of themselves. The best version of themselves beats Arsenal. But I don't think Chelsea shows up in that sort of manner. And so, therefore, a motivated Arsenal, a way for them to get into Champions League. Maybe this is the moment with Unai Emery and Arsenal get it together and they put their best performance together. And if that's the case, then I don't think Chelsea wins it.
My biggest concern for Chelsea is the Conte injury. I touched on the Rudiger effect that, the partnership Christensen and Luiz hasn't played much together. And those are big factors against a very good attacking 2 from Arsenal. The thing that gives me a little bit of hope for Chelsea is on this day, if your center forward can show up, and if as Robbo's saying, Arsenal's pressing, if you can get him to hold the ball, you're going to have so much more space for Eden Hazard to run into and to play through, and that might just benefit Chelsea. So if Conte plays and the center forward for Chelsea, whether it's Higuain or Giroud, show up,
start?
I think for this, I would start Giroud myself also. Only because Higuain loves the space behind. And for me, if you look at, and we're talking about, again, at Arsenal pressing the ball, right? You need a strong center forward to hold the ball up. And that's not necessarily Higuain's strength. So if center forward Giroud shows up, or if it's Higuain, being able to be that out ball and get Eden Hazard on the ball a little bit quicker, I think Chelsea has an opportunity.
I think it's a big deal to have the potential absence of N'Golo Kante, and I think we've addressed that. But I think the absence of Ruben Loftus-Cheek also makes a difference for this team. He had become, arguably, their best midfielder, or attacking midfielder, a player that could join in the attack, had a tremendous back end of the season. He gets injured, and now you're going back to Barkley and Kovacic. And as good as they may have been at times, consistently over the course of the year, it hasn't been all that great. Preparation for a game, somebody comes in with a late challenge, somebody takes offense to